Okay, so I just had a trigger memory of something bad that happened of a woman coming to the door when I was living on a military base. And so it actually happened after the first event of where there was the white guy who smashed his wife's head down on the front of his car. And I've shared this story before. I think I shared it on TikTok as well. And I've written about it over the decades. And so he had called my ex-husband. He was in the military, and he said he had some issues going on. So he proceeds to smashing his wife's head down on the car when we get there. So I was giving her a hug, and then I back away. He storms into the car, and gosh, I was glad I backed away when I did, because of the fact that otherwise I would have been dragged down the road. Her door was open. He stops. He peels out a second time on the gravel, and then he leaves. He lets her shut the door and leaves. Well, when my husband and I moved on into family quarters, there was another incident that happened. And so there's an African-American woman who came to the door, and she said her husband was beating her. I let her in. Without any thoughts. I didn't care because I saw her as a human being just like the other woman. Now, the other woman, well, there's no comparison. Women are women, and both women were being abused. This was back in the mid-1980s, in the 1985 time frame. It was when this was taking place. An African-American woman and a white woman. Both of them were being abused by their husband, who was in the United States military. So the woman came to the door. She had, I remember distinctly, she had, at the time the Jerry curls were popular. They were advertised on TV. And so she had oil dripping from her hair. And I think she had, I don't remember if she had her hair cap on or not. I just remember it looked like she was in the middle of getting her hair done by someone. And then she came to the house and said that she said her husband was abusing her. And I said, well, do you want to call the police? She said no. She said no. She didn't want to call the police. And I said, well, what? So we sat for a few minutes. And then she says, well, I'll call my friend. So she called her friend. I remember giving her a hug before she left too, because I felt bad for her. You know, so it was kind of the other gal, I wanted her to come to the house. I didn't know what to do, but I thought, okay, we could call the police. And so, you know, that's what this memory must have been about on the internet through YouTube.